back as we're moving our coverage along for the celebrations on Independence Day, one in Houma, one in Thibodaux. We're still in Houma. Let's rejoin the Veterans Memorial Service on 311 in Terrebonne Parish, and let's give you a look at some of the scenes that were taking place.
I'd like to now call Gary Blanchard. Where are you? Where's Gary? Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I saw him sitting down earlier. Gary Blanchard is going to read a little essay and a poem to you, and I thought it was very fitting and appropriate. He was recognized, won the award for it, and wrote this himself. And when you see the depth of thought that went into this, I think you're what, 14? 13? 12. For a 12-year-old, you got to say, wow. Gary?
What does being an American mean to me? Or the land of the free and the home of the brave. My grandfather's voice echoed with pride as he sang these meaningful words. As I stood before him, I could see the tears from his eyes falling. These tears brought back unforgettable memories of the past when he fought to keep our land free. These tears symbolize freedom, courage, bravery, and most of all, the sweet taste of victory. Yes, we live in this beautiful land of the free. Freedom, which means the offering of our lives of our courageous Americans. This answers my question. What does being an American mean to me? Being an American to me means to bravely face every challenge it takes to keep this country free. Being an American to me means that in every beat of my heart caused a feeling of love for my country. Being an American to me means showing pride and honesty to my country. It means doing the best of my ability to be a good citizen that my country could be proud of. Being an American to me means with heads up high, I can shout to the whole world that I love my country and that I'm very ready to defend its freedom no matter what it takes. Like my grandfather, I will always face whatever challenges that will come my way just to keep our country free. With great pride, I'm asking each and every one of you to face these challenges with me bravely. Let these strong feelings of love and pride for our country begin with you and me.
Thank you. Well done. Well done. Our country's in good hands. I'd like to now call on another person who has always supported the men and women in uniform, who has been our parish leader, and who has always been there when the veterans needed something, and who has worked tirelessly with the veterans, and particularly with the Regional Military Museum as it works to, again, protect and preserve our past and our heritage so that those who come behind us will know the road that has been paved and made for them and the sacrifices that were made along the way. Without further ado, Parish President Michel Claudet. Mr. President.
Thank you, General. It's truly fitting to begin a celebration to celebrate the birth of our nation across from a memorial that honors those who made the ultimate sacrifice. We all enjoy the freedoms today as a result of the sacrifices that have been made by those who have been before us, and we all appreciate the sacrifices that the military have done time and time again. I want to thank each of you in the military for your great contributions to keeping our nation free and all the benefits that we receive today. Again, thank you for everything, and I just want to again confirm Terrebonne Parish does whatever it can to support our veterans. Thank you.
And I can truly say that we're most blessed to have Parish President and Council Member, President Claudet and Councilman Pizzolata, who have been there as our champions. And again, on behalf of the veterans, thank you all. Thank you. What we generally do at this time, I wanted to say just a few brief words, and then I'm going to ask everyone here. We're going to do something that we did 2 years ago, we're going to follow up on, and I'm going to recognize several individuals and then ask them to join me. But in trying to figure out, when I was asked to speak, what, where, when, and how, and speak, recognizing this is, one, a birthday, 235 years, so it's a happy celebration. It's a happy occasion. But at the same time, to recognize we're only here because of sacrifices made by the men and women in uniform. And that's not just military uniforms now, it's all uniforms. But at the same time, I was talking to, and where is he? Chief Warrant Officer Sam Robinson. Sam, Chief, where are you? Yeah, he must be getting ready for the parade. Those of us who have served know you get next to a good sergeant or a good crusty chief warrant officer, and they'll keep you straight and keep you out of trouble. Sam was a Vietnam vet, and this being the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, we've lost some. Dr. Downer-Louisiana never met his father. His father was killed as a pilot, while Downer-Louisiana, shortly after he had been born, his father was overseas. Sam carried his code of conduct through the Vietnam War. And because of today's program and what we're going to do shortly, I thought what I would just do is read the code of conduct that was carried through the Vietnam War. And I'd ask you to just think and reflect on it. Because here we are now, 235 years after our Declaration of Independence on July 4th of 1776. And guess what? These principles still endure. I am an American fighting man. I serve in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I am prepared to give my life in their defense. I will never surrender of my own free will. If in command, I will never surrender my men while they still have the means to resist. If I am captured, I will continue to resist by all means available. I will make every effort to escape and aid others to escape. I will accept neither parole nor special favors from the enemy. If I become a prisoner of war, I will keep my faith with my fellow prisoners. I will give no information nor take part in any action which might be harmful to my comrades. If I am the senior, I will take command. If not, I will obey the lawful orders of those appointed over me and will back them up in every way. When questioned, should I become a prisoner of war, I am bound to give only my name, rank, and service number and date of birth. I will evade answering further questions in the utmost of my ability. I will make no oral or written statements disloyal to my country and its allies, or harmful to their cause. I will never forget that I am an American fighting man, responsible for my actions and dedicated to the principles which made my country free. I will trust in my God and in the United States of America. Wow. Everyone who has served in uniform took this code. And those who took that live by it, and live by it today. It wasn't something you put on with the uniform and you took off. And to our young scouts, as they're growing up, they learn a code. And if we live by that, and if everybody in this world lived by that code, just think of where we would be. At this time, 2 years ago, we commissioned a person into the United States Air Force. This young lady, registered nurse, decided at I want to say a midlife crisis, that's my terminology, wanted to do something and give back to her country. Her father and her grandfather had long been public servants in Terrebonne Parish and in this state, and she chose as her way, instead of getting involved into politics, was to give back by joining the United States Air Force and being commissioned as a nurse. And 2 years ago, during this ceremony, we commissioned then 2nd Lieutenant Lottinger into the United States Air Force. And I'm going to ask her to just stand up. That was 2nd Lieutenant Lottinger. And I'm going to ask her if she would just move forward for now. I'm going to ask to accompany her, Lieutenant Clay, please. We're going to do something. Fall in over there if you don't mind. And Lieutenant Clay, you were introduced to a little earlier. Lieutenant Clay is a nurse, also on active duty, so we've got the Army and the Air Force covered. And to show how small and how unique of a situation and world this is, and particularly Terrebonne Parish, and its history of supporting veterans and turning out the best and the brightest and the youngest as we go forward. Colonel Bill Davis, whom you met, I'd like to introduce to you his grandson, Lieutenant Hunter Davis. So, Lieutenant Davis, front and center with the others. Lieutenant Davis is a second lieutenant, United States Air Force. He's on leave, waiting his assignment. I don't know, Nellis Air Force Base is where you report? Randolph Air Force Base, next week, I believe, sometime. And he was just commissioned 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I believe. So we have the newest, we're fixing to have formerly the oldest second lieutenant in the Air Force, and now the newest first lieutenant in the United States Air Force. And I would just ask if Lieutenant Davis, Lieutenant Clay, if you would escort Second Lieutenant Lottinger to the forefront, and I would ask Judge and Mrs. Lottinger to step forward. We're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, in the military, there is a promotion ceremony, and then we do a pinning ceremony. And in this case, I'll read the promotion orders, and her parents will do the pinning, flanked by 2 of her comrades in arms. And I know their paths will cross. Judge, Ms. Lottinger, if you would move forward, I got to find the promotion orders in my pocket. Attention orders. Uniformed personnel, please come to attention. Face the front. Attention to orders. The President of the United States, acting upon the recommendation of the Secretary of the Air Force, has placed special trust and confidence in patriotism, integrity, and abilities of Second Lieutenant Therese Lottinger. In view of these special qualities and her demonstrated potential to serve in the higher grade, Second Lieutenant Lottinger is hereby promoted to the grade of First Lieutenant, United States Air Force, by order of the Secretary of the Air Force. Judge, Mrs. Lottinger. Remove the second lieutenant bars, replace them. You're now moving from gold to silver. Lieutenant Davis, we will hope to see you in 2 years with your silver bar. For a while there, when I was a private twice, I wish we'd have had Velcro. They went on and off easy. Back then, they sewed them. Then they came along with the clip. They're still using some clip. It's really interesting. We have 2 lieutenants from Houma who are both nurses. And Lieutenant Davis is going into aviation, so Space Command, I believe. Aeronautical Command, pilot, flying. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Lottinger. Give her a round. I'm going to ask if you will join me, because what we have to now do is, even though she's already taken the oath of office, when you change ranks, you reaffirm your oath. So, Lieutenant Lottinger, will you raise your right hand? I, and state your name.
I, Therese Lottinger,
have been appointed a First Lieutenant in the United States Air Force.
have been appointed a First Lieutenant in the United States Air Force.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation of purpose or of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will and faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of which I am about to enter.
the duties of
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Lodge. I'm happy to report there'll be a wetting, W-E-T-T-I-N-G, down party for Lieutenant Lottinger in the center of the parking lot in the heat with ice coolers, ice chest of water bottles. Thank you, Lieutenant Lottinger. Thank y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a round.
All right, when we come back, we're going to bring you a parade that happened for Independence Day right here in Terrebonne Parish, and it's actually celebrated on the 2nd, but it's still the Krewe Veterans Parade. It started at the Concord Plaza down Val High, and of course it ends at the Civic Center. We're going to bring you some of the highlights of that parade when we come back. All right, what would a 4th of July celebration be without a parade? As usual in Houma, some of the more nostalgic vehicles are put into a parade, and it's the Krewe Veterans Parade, and it started on the Concord Plaza down Val High. It ends at the Houma Terrebonne Civic Center. So set to music, we're going to show you some of that parade in this segment, and look very carefully because a lot of people put a lot of work to get their vehicles in, and it's all to honor those veterans on a very special day. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, yet to come, we're going to hear from the Houma Community Band, Papillon, the U.S. Navy Band, Whalen Thibodeau. We'll have skydivers, and then we're going to have a fireworks display. Of course, in Thibodeau, we're going to move on for the Let Freedom Ring Festival, which was a big event in itself. It's all coming up on our continuing coverage of the 4th of July right here on HTV. Don't go away.